Hi, we're starting on lesson 8 in the Unit 2 of Algebra 1 book. And this begins with which equation, right, we're going to determine based on the table. So the table shows a relationship between the base length B and the area A of some parallelograms. All the parallelograms have the same height. Base length is measured in inches, as you can see here, and area is measured in square inches right here. Complete the table. Okay, so let's look at the table and notice some patterns. Well, the inches B go to 3 A, which are squared inches. So we notice that there's a relationship 1 to 3. Okay, and then the relationship is 2 to 6. Okay, 2 to 6. 3 to 9, 3 to 9. Okay, so we're definitely noticing that there's a relationship of multiplied by 3 here, right? That's going to be the pattern. So now 4.5 times 3. Well, 4 times 3 is 12, and a half times 3 is 1.5. So 13.5 right here. 11 divide by 2, or 11 halves, times 3. Well, 11 times 3 is 33, so it would just be 33 over 2. Now we have to go backwards. What number times 3 gives us 36? Well, that's 12. 12 times 3 is 36. How about 46.5? Well, 46.5 divided by 3 ends up being 15.5. Okay, so that wasn't too bad. And if you're not sure, we can do 46.5 divided by 3. 1 times 3, 3. 4 times 3, 1. Bring down the 6. That's 5. 5 times 3, 15. And then 1. Put the decimal here. 15. 3 goes into 15 5 times, so 15.5. Decide whether each equation could represent the relationship between B and A, prepared to explain your reasoning. So we saw that it's going to be the B times 3 equals A, right? So would A work? No, it's 3 times A equals B, so A would not work. How about this one? If you do A divided by 3, would that give us B? Yeah, that would. How about A is B divided by 3? No, it's B multiplied by 3. How about A equals 3 times B? Yes. So those should have been pretty easy. After a parade, a group of volunteers is helping pick up trash along the 2-mile stretch of road. The group decides to divide the length of the road so that each volunteer is responsible for cleaning up equal length sections. Find the length of the road for each volunteer if there are the following numbers of volunteers. Be prepared to explain your reasoning. Okay, so 8 volunteers. Remember, we're picking up trash along a 2-mile road. So 2 miles, and then divide the length of the road for each volunteer. So how long is the road? 2 miles. Divided by how much? Well, in this case, 8 volunteers. 8 volunteers. That's the same thing as 1/4 of a mile per volunteer. 10 volunteers. So 2 miles, this is miles, divided by 10 volunteers. And that's 2 divided by 10, or 1 divided by 5. So that's 1/5 of a mile per volunteer. How about 25 volunteers? Start noticing the pattern. 2 miles divided by 25 volunteers. And that's equal to, well, 2 25ths of a mile per volunteer. And the last one, 2 miles divided by 36 volunteers, gives us, well, 1 out of 18, because 2 out of 36 is 1 out of 18 miles per volunteer. So we can write the equation 2 miles we can just write 2. Let's just write 2. 2 divided by the amount of volunteers equals the length that a volunteer picks up. Find the number of volunteers in the group if each volunteer cleans up a section of the following lengths. Be prepared to explain or show your reasoning. Okay, so remember that it's 2 miles divided by the number of volunteers is equal to this length, right? So we're told what the length is. So we can instead say that 2 miles divided by the length gives us the amount of volunteers. That's also true. So 2 divided by 0.4, that would be 5 volunteers. So 2 divided by 0.4 gives us 5 volunteers. Number of volunteers, right? Number of volunteers. Same thing with this one. 2 divided by 2/7. Okay. So that would be 14 over 4, or 7 over 2, or 3.5 volunteers. 3.5 volunteers. That's kind of weird that you would have like a half of a volunteer, but here we are. 2 divided by, well, 0.125. So that would be, well, 1/8. So there would be 16 volunteers. And the last one, 2 divided by 6 over 45. That would be 90 divided by 6, which would be 15 volunteers. Okay, write an equation that would make it easy to find the number of volunteers and if each volunteer cleans up amount of section. So that would be 2 divided by, well, the number of volunteers equals that section. And the last little bit, tank A initially contains 124 liters of water, then is filled with more water, a constant rate of 9 liters per minute. How many liters of water are in the tank after the time has passed? So 124 minus 9 times, well, 4 minutes, right? Because we're taking it away. 124 minus 36 would be 88. And then 124 minus 9 times, well, 80 seconds is like 1 1/3 minutes, right? Or 4/3. So 9 times 4 is 36. Divide by 3 is 12. So 112 minutes. M minutes, so 124 minus 9 times M equals, well, whatever, this amount is. Okay. How many minutes have passed in time M when tank A contains the following amounts? Well, we're going to use the same here. So if there's filled with more water. What a mistake. Silly me. Okay. So it's not actually subtracting. That's I wanted to find out if it was taking out of the tank, but nevertheless, we were able to solve it that way. Oops, my bad. But it'll still follow the same kind of formula. 124, instead of minus, it'll be plus 9 times 4. So that would be 36 plus 124 is 160 liters, right? And 124 plus 9 times 4/3, that would be 136 liters. And 124 plus 9 times M, well, that would once again, you see the pattern here. The rate is 9 liters per minute, and we found the amount of minutes. So now we're told what this number is, but we need to find out how many minutes are passed here. So we can say that it's going to be 151 minus 124, all divided by 9. Okay, so 151 divided by 24 is 27 divided by 9. That's 3 minutes. So that's this first one. Letter B, 191.5 minus 124, all divided by 9. Well, that would be what? 67.5. 67.5 divided by 9. That's like 7.5 minutes. 270.25, 270.25 minus 124, all divided by 9, and we're left with 140.25, all divided by 9. And if you put that into your handy dandy calculator, you would get 140 divided by 0.2 or 0.25 divided by 9. That's 15 about 58 minutes that it would take. And then P liters, well, we would just say P minus 124 divided by 9 gives us our minutes. Okay, cool.